If you're thinking about buying the Imarku 7-inch Santoku knife, wait a second, because today I'm uncovering some surprising truths you need to know first. You might have seen this knife boasting a razor-sharp edge, rust resistance, and that sleek packwood handle, all for just under 40 bucks. But here's what surprised me. It's not all as perfect as it seems, and if you jump in blindly, you might end up with more frustration than a chef in a rush. But don't worry, I'll break down every key detail from the good to the not so good, so by the end of this, you'll know exactly if this knife deserves a spot in your kitchen drawer or if you should keep looking. So stick around because what I found might just change how you think about budget knives forever. Let's start with who this knife is actually for, because one man's treasure can be another's trouble. If you're a home cook who loves chopping, dicing, and slicing, but doesn't want to spend hundreds on cutlery, this knife claims to be a professional-grade tool without the restaurant price tag. Its 7-inch Santoku blade is said to be ultra-sharp, made of high-carbon stainless steel that promises resistance to rust, stains, and corrosion. On paper, it sounds like the perfect all-rounder for everyday kitchen tasks, be that chopping veggies, mincing herbs, or slicing meat. Even the handle looks impressive, ergonomically designed from upgraded packwood that supposedly avoids the usual cracking or expanding you see in other wooden handles, promising both comfort and durability. Sounds like a home cook's dream, right? But hold on, we're just getting started. Now here's where things get interesting and a little complicated. When I put the Imarku Santoku knife to the test, some issues popped up that you don't realize just from the Amazon listing or that shiny gift box it comes in. Let's start with the blade itself. It's marketed as being about 2.5 m thick with a hand-polished edge sharpened to 15 to 18 degrees per side, which should make slicing effortless. And yes, it does feel surprisingly sharp right out of the box. However, the hollow edge design, meant to reduce sticking when you're cutting things like cucumbers or tomatoes, not only sometimes fails to keep food from sticking, but also traps bits of residue that are tricky to clean. So hygiene-conscious cooks, heads up. You have to be extra careful to avoid buildup that might affect longevity. Switching gears to durability, here's a twist. While the high-carbon stainless steel is corrosion-resistant, some users have noticed early signs of discoloration and tiny rust spots after a few months of regular use, especially when the knife isn't dried meticulously after washing. That's a bit ironic for a blade advertised to resist rust, right? It's like buying sunscreen that says SPF 100 but still leaves you sunburned. So if you plan on throwing this in the dishwasher or letting it air dry carelessly, this might not be the toughest companion for your culinary adventures. Handling and comfort is an area where the Imarku Santoku knife genuinely shines. The advanced packwood handle is smoother and more stable than handles on other knives I've seen in this price range. It minimizes wrist tension during chopping, which is a godsend for anyone who spends more than a few minutes prepping meals. However, there's a caveat. The handle's unique texture is a bit of a double-edged sword. While some say it offers extra grip, others find it slightly too smooth when wet, which could be a safety concern if your hands are slippery. And nobody wants their kitchen knife flying off like a frisbee mid-slice, unless you want a ticket to the ER. Let's pause here because I promised a twist, remember. Despite these little flaws, the Imarku Santoku knife's sharpness and general build quality punch way above its price point. It's almost like getting a high-end steak dinner on a fast food budget. But here's the catch. While the knife works well for most kitchen tasks, it's not suited for heavy-duty chopping on bones or frozen meats. If you try, you'll wear the blade out faster and risk chipping it. So if you're looking for a multi-purpose beast of a blade, this might feel more like a delicate ballet dancer than a heavyweight boxer. Now, let's talk about the perfect gift angle that Imarku highlights in its marketing. The knife being packaged in a sleek black gift box might tempt you to snap it up for friends or family who enjoy cooking. But here's a quirky joke. If your loved one can't handle critiquing kitchen tools, Gifting this knife might be like giving them a gym membership. Great idea, but you better be ready for some feedback. On the bright side, that 3-month refund and 1-year exchange policy offers peace of mind if any issues pop up, which is always a relief when buying knives online without handling them first. Here's a quick kitchen joke to lighten things up. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the knife and got scared stiff. All jokes aside, the Imarku's edge does make slicing tomatoes much easier, but watch out for that sticking problem I mentioned earlier. By now, you might be wondering if I regret testing this knife at all. Actually, no. The Imarku 7-inch Santoku knife fills an important niche. Its price-to-performance ratio is impressive, especially for beginner cooks or those on a budget. It's not perfect. No knife in this range is. But it delivers a satisfying chopping experience with a sharp edge straight from the box, decent corrosion resistance if cared for, and a sturdy, comfortable handle to boot. However, if absolute durability and top-tier sharpness that lasts for years without fuss is your goal, you might want to keep hunting for a higher-end piece or invest in professional sharpening tools to maintain this one. Before I let you go, here's another joke to slice through the seriousness. What's a chef's favorite martial art? Chop suey. And that's exactly the vibe this Santoku knife brings to your kitchen, quick, precise, but sometimes a bit delicate. To sum this up, the Imarku 7-inch Santoku knife is best for everyday home cooks looking for an affordable, sharp, and ergonomically designed blade for light to medium kitchen tasks. It's great for slicing veggies, boneless meats, fruits, and herbs, and it definitely looks the part if you value aesthetics. Just don't expect it to replace a full professional cutlery set or withstand rough kitchen abuse without some wear and tear. If you treat it right, it's a handy tool that punches above its price. And here's a final laugh. Why don't chefs ever get locked out of their kitchens? Because they have a lot of keys to cut. Speaking of cuts, if you want to give this knife a try and find the best price, check the link in the description. Remember, great cooking starts with great tools, and the Imarku Santoku knife might just be your next kitchen MVP, if you know what to expect. Thanks for sticking with me through this honest review. If you liked what you heard, hit that like button and subscribe for more product reviews that don't cut corners, unlike some knives. Until next time, happy cooking and stay sharp.